Hello everyone, this is Angie at Chicken Scratch, and today I'm going to show you how to make this teeny tiny fabric basket. It's a quick sewing project, and once you make one, you'll probably want to make several. I've created a free printable that includes all the supplies and measurements, and you'll find the link in the description. Okay, let's get started. I love this little basket because it has such a unique shape. The folded corners gives it lots of personality, and I want to show you how to fold those corners. I have two pieces of fabric that measure 10 inches by 10 inches, and then I have one piece of interfacing that measures 9 3/4 by 9 3/4. I'm going to take that interfacing and place it on the wrong side of the front or the outside fabric, and I'm going to press it. Now you can see that I've pressed it onto the back side of the outside fabric, and now I'm going to place these right sides together and I'm going to clip it. And then I'm going to leave an opening so that we can turn this right sides out. So I'm just going to clip 3 of the sides, and then on one side I'm going to leave about a 2-inch opening to turn the basket right side out. So I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and start sewing, and then go all the way around and then stop right there. So start and stop. And I'm going to use a 3/8 inch seam. If you don't know where 3/8 is, then use a 1/2 inch, because a 1/4 inch seam is really difficult on this teeny tiny fabric basket. Now take your scissors and you're going to cut the corners, but make sure you don't cut into where you sewed, right? So don't cut into that seam line, just cut around. That just reduces some of the bulk so that you can push those edges out with your clover tool. So once I've trimmed around all 4 corners, I'm going to turn this right side out, and then I'm going to use my clover tool to push those corners out a little bit better. I have one tip to share with you on these corners using the clover tool, and that's when you place it in the corner, give it a little twist. I learned that from Lori Holt, so just twist it a little bit, and that helps bring that edge out, right? The next step is we're going to press this so that we can sew around the entire thing. So here's that opening. I want to make sure that we catch that when I'm sewing. So I'm just going to make sure that I iron it really well on both sides, that it's nice and flat. And then I'm going to use my clips to hold it in place. And then we're going to sew around the entire thing. I'm going to use a 1/4 inch seam for this step, so sew around the entire piece with a 1/4 inch seam. I'm going to take an erasable marker, a ruler, and a chick-a-ma-jig, and I'm going to fold this in half, and I'm going to use the chick-a-ma-jig, which is the 2.5 inch square. So you can use a 2.5 inch ruler, whatever you want to use to mark 2.5, okay? So I'm going to mark 2.5 on the right, 2.5 on the bottom, and then I'm going to use the ruler to draw a line from point A to point B. And we're going to be stitching on that line. Now I'm going to move over to the left side and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to take the 2.5 inches, I'm going to line it up on the left and mark it, and then I'm going to line it up on the bottom and mark it, and then I'm going to use the ruler to draw that line from point A to point B. Just to recap, we're going to sew straight on that line, both of them. You can see that I've stitched on those lines, and so now we're going to open this up and we're going to repeat that process. So fold this flat as best you can, and then I'm going to use the chick-a-majig again. Like I said, use any 2.5 inch ruler that you want. I'm going to mark it on the right, and then I'm going to mark it on the bottom, and then I'm going to use the ruler to trace that line, or to mark from point A to point B. This is an erasable marker, like I said, so we're going to be using an iron to remove those lines in just a few minutes. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side now. This is a different size chick-a-majig than the original one. So the original one has 2 inches and 1.5. This pink one has 2.5 and 1 3/4. Yes, so this would be, the pink one has different measurements than the white one, just in case you're wondering. I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and stitch on those lines. Now I'm going to use my iron to remove those black lines. I'm going to use my scissors to snip these threads. And the final step is you're going to push these little pockets open. So see, you're going to flatten it just like that. And then you're going to fold this over and then move over to the right. Flatten that little pocket and fold the top down on top over it. Move over to the next one, flatten that pocket and fold down, flatten the pocket and fold it down. And here's your little teeny tiny fabric basket. It's super cute. Now it does have those little pockets. The pockets are super small, so it doesn't really hold much, but it just gives it some really nice character, right? It's super cute. I hope you enjoyed today's teeny tiny fabric basket. Don't forget to download the free printable using the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. I'll see you next time.